Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're in my garage. I have to mold a bunch of jig heads today. Well, I'm going to start molding them today. I've been invited as a vendor to, well, not my local church, but a church around here for their annual Christmas bazaar. Now it's only July right now, but I really need to get started because I want to have a good amount of inventory. I've been a vendor at this church in the past with other projects and I've done very, very well. Now what I want to focus on today are the EWG style net heads that I make. It's probably my favorite jig to make because it's super simple. I use them all the time. I've saved myself a ton of money making them on my own. And I want to show you guys just how easy it is, especially if you're new to jig making or you want to get started and you're not sure which mold to buy. I got to tell you, if you're not sure, it's this one right here. This is the Weedless Finesse jig, model number WMF-6-A from Do It Molds. It's recommended that you use the Victory hooks style 10777 size 1 hooks. That'll work in every cavity in this mold. And that's pretty much all you need. That's what makes this mold so easy. Not only does it mold well and demold very easily, but you don't need any wire keepers. You don't need any brush guards. You don't need any glue or any eyes. All you need is lead, the hook, the mold, and some paint. Super simple. All right, I think the lead pot is nice and hot. I'm gonna go rest this mold on top of the pot and get it warmed up, and we'll make some jigs. All right, quick disclaimer. When you're doing this, wear your PPE, your respirator, your gloves, all the good important stuff. Some people use a face mask, eye protection, something. Make sure you're wearing your PPE. Now, for the purposes of making the video, you can't hear me through a respirator. I can't function cameras with a glove, so this is a risk I'm taking just to make the video. But when I'm not recording, I assure you, I'm wearing all the safety stuff because this is hot lead, dangerous fumes. You don't want to mess around with it. So there you go. Fine print. Let's get back to work. All right, I've had this mold sitting on top of the pot for a while. It should be nice and warm. I'm going to load up my hooks. Now I'm only going to make, for the purposes of this video, is the 1/16, the 1/8, and the 5/32. And I got the tops marked with a Sharpie, just so I can keep track of which ones I'm pouring lead into. And like I said before, this is super simple. No weed guards, no plastic keepers, nothing to stop if you're making these things super quick. So I got the mold loaded up with hooks. Nice positive click. Now we're gonna get in here, a little test pour, there we go. Let's pour some jigs. As soon as you see it solidify on the top, you're good. Demold the jig. Check it out. Yep. Perfect. Same there. And same there. All right. That's how easy it is. I purposely did that in real time so I can show you that. I haven't cut the sprue off yet, but I purposely didn't edit that part out so you can see exactly how easy it was. All you gotta do now is cut off the sprue. And there you go. EWG net head. That easy. I'm gonna whip up a few more of these and then we'll paint them. Made up 15 pretty darn quick. I only sped it up because, the process can get repetitive, but basically, here it is. And you can fish that just as it is. Now, of course, it's more fun to paint them, right? And before I paint them, and this is probably, depending on how good of a job you do, cutting off the sprue, a kind of unnecessary step. But I just like to give them a little scrape with the file. It smooths off the head real nice. It takes off any extra lead that you weren't expecting to be there. So I'm gonna do that to these 15 jigs, and we'll be right back to painting. All right, now that we got our jig heads all prepared for paint, let's paint them. I like to use this ProTech paint. There you go, kind of, sort of. All right, but this ProTech powder paint, and some of the distributors have their own versions of it, but it's really great stuff. It's fairly inexpensive. These jars should normally only run you about $7 a pop. I've seen them on Amazon for as much as 20. Good tip is to avoid Amazon when it comes to buying jig making material. For some reason, the stuff's crazy expensive there. Now you pick your color. For the purpose of the video, I think it'd be cool to use the watermelon. Is what this is? No, it's the green pumpkin, excuse me. Use the green pumpkin. I'm gonna use some ruby red because that'll come out real nice on camera. And then I have some watermelon red flake that I'm gonna use as well. You wanna shake up whatever color you're gonna use. Make sure it's nice and fluffy. Otherwise it'll clump up and you'll get too much paint and not an even coat on your jig head. All right. Use a pair of forceps or hemostats to hold your jig. And you're going to want to hold it over your heat source. In this case, I like to use a heat gun. To me, it's just I can control the temperature a little bit better, and I don't have to worry about running out of fuel for my torch. How long you do it kind of depends on how big of a jig head you're using, and you'll get the hang of it the more you do it. All right, then you just give it a quick dip, tap off the excess, and you're good to go. Now sometimes I like to give it another shot over the heat just to even out the paint. And if the camera will pick it up, you'll be able to see that it actually added some gloss to it too, which is the same effect you'll get when you bake them. All right, so I'm going to finish up this batch of the green pumpkin and then move on to another color. Really all it takes to make these weedless net heads. Let me show you how to rig them up. Yeah, it's a pretty simple process actually. I'm going to use a Z-Man TRD and that green pumpkin net head you just watched me make. You just kind of stick it into the plastic, just like you would a regular Texas rig style. Run it through, spin it around the hook, and then you take your hook, measure it up, pierce, and pull through. And that's it. Well, surprisingly, I rigged that pretty straight for not being able to see over the top of the camera, but there it is. One weedless net head, and you actually can, if you want to expose into the plastic. So now it's crazy amount of weedless, but there you go. Now you compare this to one of those open hook designs, you can throw this in a lot more places. Now, of course, with that being said, you're still going to snag and lose a few of these. They're not snag proof. The lead head itself could get stuck between some rocks and you'll end up breaking off. The only difference I've really noticed when fishing this style net head versus your traditional open hook style is you have to set the hook a little harder than you normally would. Usually I throw a Ned rig on spinning gear and you can almost just kind of pull up when you feel that bite on the exposed hook style. On these, you got to swing for the fences just a little bit more. And what I usually do to combat that is instead of using a 6 or an 8 pound fluorocarbon leader, I usually switch it up to like a 10, maybe a 12. It depends on, some of the rocky, grassy, sticky stuff that I fish down here in South Florida. But really, if you just up your leader, or if you're going straight braid or straight fluoro or straight mono, then just up it a little bit and you should be okay. Well guys, thank you for watching another video. I really do appreciate it. I got to get moving because I got to make like a couple hundred more of these things for this show. I got till November, but I don't want to fall behind and wait till the last minute. I want to make sure I can get them ready to go. That way I can get them packaged and prepped and ready for the show. And if you found any of this helpful, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. And if you're not already, consider subscribing. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of Parabellum Fishing.